Hey folks, if you use your bike enough, chances are some components are going to start to fail. This is an Eagle GX derailleur that still looks okay. However, I got a twig in my spokes. I don't know if you can see, this one is quite beat up during my last race, and as a result of that, my derailleur right now is quite twisted, so it doesn't really work anymore. I can't straighten it. As a replacement, I'm going to use an X01, so the more expensive Eagle derailleur from Sram. And in this short video, I'm going to take a look at the two side by side and see what kind of differences are between these two models. If you watch my installation video, you know that there is a bit of play in that knuckle where the derailleur attaches to the hanger, and that translates in quite a bit of play here at the bottom of the cage. That didn't seem to affect the functionality or the shifting performance of the drivetrain, but I'm curious to see if that same issue is going to exist on the X01. I've used this drivetrain with an X01 shifter, but the GX shifter is not much different. I actually have a video comparing the two side by side. Looking from the distance, you might be tempted to say that they are built identically, and you wouldn't be far off if you said that, especially if you look around this area where the clutch is. The clutch and also this part of the cage seem to be identical on the two units. Look at the back of it here, is built the same way, looks the same way. From the front, you have different graphics on this part of the cage, but that's about it. The inner part of the cage looks almost identical. You can see the finish is different, a bit fancier on the X01 compared to GX. By the way, this is where the serial number is stamped on both. And they differ in the way they are produced. If you look at the tab over here, you will see that on the GX, this is bent into shape, so die-cast aluminum. And this one is called forged. This is poured into shape. Look at the shape of that, bent. XX1 would have this inner portion made out of carbon, by the way. Top jockey here, or guide pulley, seems to be identical on the two derailleurs. SRAM uses ball bearings both on GX01 and XX1, and they seem to last quite a bit. I have an older video showing you how to do a bit of maintenance in there. This is, by the way, this is not narrow wide profile, this top jockey. Looking at the lower jockey wheel or tension pulley, this one, even though they say is identical, it doesn't look identical to me. The X01 has a profile that is very similar to what Shimano uses on their 11-speed XT and XTRs. This is narrow, wide profile, but also you have that ring around it. I think is just so it doesn't push mud into the bearings when you ride in extreme conditions. Also, compared to Shimano, I like the way they profiled this part of the cage, and I guess that would just scrape off excessive mud as you were collecting it here on this lower jockey. Compared to that one, the GX looks like a simpler, cheaper to produce design, and you look here, it's a narrow wide as well, but again, lower cost, and it shows that. The tooth profile is unidirectional, and in the past they had left and right marked on this jockey. I don't see that on the X01, so if you take this apart, just keep in mind the way it was installed. This cable roller on the X01 can be removed to clean it or lube it. You see the bolt over there. Also, there are third parties making a fancier one of these, believe it or not. You cannot really do that on the GX. This is riveted into place, so you cannot take it out. The only other difference between the two would be weight. 292 for GX, 281 for X01, so 11 grams and $100. So let me get the X01 installed on the bike and see if I notice any difference in performance. Use a 5mm Allen key and 10 to 12 Newton meters to attach the derailleur to your hanger. Needless to say, make sure that your hanger is nice and straight for Eagle. Also, the B-gap adjustment, for which they provide you this little template. That is probably the most critical component of adjusting an Eagle drivetrain, but use my installation video to get that done. The side-to-side play here is gone. There is a bit of movement, but that's given by the length of this arm in that extended position. So I guess this would be manufactured to tighter tolerances if nothing else. Shifting on a stand is as expected, which is really good. The one thing I didn't notice is that chain getting out of sync with the narrow wide profile teeth here on the 42 and 50. So that's an interesting find, I guess. The other thing is, right now on the stand, my B gap is not what it should be. It is actually a bit smaller. That is because they recommend setting that with 20% sag. So sitting on the bike, that's how you adjust the B gap. So let me take it to the trails and see if I notice a difference over there. Took the bike to the local trails. On this drivetrain, everything is what I had before, with the exception of the derailleur. And did I feel any difference compared to the GX derailleur that I had before? I would say definitely yes. Just like I saw it on the stand, the shifting is a bit crisper. It's just hard to describe. It's just snappier overall. Worked well on the power. It was just fine, but I discovered this just by testing back to back if you want. If all you know is Eagle GX, I was perfectly fine with that before. Definitely cheaper to replace. Is it worth considering a GX drivetrain with the X01 rear derailleur? Companies like Yeti would think so. Their GX build and also a couple of their X01 builds have GX pretty much everything with the exception of the rear derailleur, which is an X01, and based on my testing today, I think I know why. It just provides you that cleaner shifting overall. And that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, let me know below. I'm going to include a lot of links in the description for more details. If you found this useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, really hope to see you guys on the trails. Cheers, guys. Cheers.